7:40 coming up in 10 minutes. That polar vortex that is headed straight for your front door. We'll get your weekend forecast coming up here in a couple of minutes. Kathy Helbig, though, we got to talk a little real estate. We got to get the front door before the wind blows it down. Kathy Helbig, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
KathyHelbiggroup.com is the website. What are the questions we should ask when buying a house?
Number one, you should find out about the sales history of the house. So how much did the seller pay for it? How long ago did he buy it? How often has the home turned over? Sometimes that gives you a clue. If nobody stays in it very long, you've got to ask yourself, why does no one want to live in this house? It might also give you a sense of what the seller's expectation is going to be. So let's say they just bought it 2 years ago. And maybe they've put some things into it. So now you know in their mind they're going to try to get their money back out of it. So it just kind of gives you a feeling of where they're at. Although comparables are really the only way to value the true market of a house. So what you've spent on it doesn't necessarily mean what you're going to get out of it. So that's number two. What major improvements did the seller do to the house? So again, it gives you an idea of what the seller's added and the expectation of the money back. The average home improvement, though, only gets about 60 to 70 at the max percent.
That's interesting because
back.
I watch these TV shows and they get like 200% back.
Yes, and $1 million listing is a, is a phenomenon, too. No, it really depends on the renovation. Obviously, kitchens and baths and the bigger, finished lower levels, things like that, tend to be on the higher end of the scale. But painting, not necessarily. Window treatments, draperies, those type of things. That's going to be on that's going to be on the lower scale. But it will help you sell your house.
But over time, won't you recoup it in terms of?
Typically, yes. Okay. But dollar for dollar, it's really what the market value is of the neighborhood and your type homes. And just because yours has a black splash and somebody else doesn't make yours worth $5,000 more necessarily. It will make it sell quicker.
Gotcha.
What are the property taxes? You really need to do your homework with that and factor that into your budget, because what that person's property tax is the day you buy it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be what yours is 2 years from now when it gets reassessed.
Right.
So it's based on the home's value, and if you just paid $60,000 or $100,000 more for it, then your taxes are likely going up. So keep that in mind. Has there ever been any water issues, any damage, any termite, pest infestation? You need to ask those type of questions. What are the warranties left on the house? HVAC, structural, builder, leftover builder ones. But a really big tip for everyone is you can find a lot of this information out by going into have your agent go into the MLS and pull old listings up, because now everything's recorded.
Right.
Years ago, we didn't have that. So you can go back and say, well, they said they finished the basement. Well, maybe they put one extra room into it because you're looking at the listing before and half that basement was already finished.
Right.
So you can find those things out. And then a really big tip, because disclosure is so important and people tend to not want to be forthcoming with things that they think is going to impede the sale of the house.
Right.
There's listings often put the disclosures into the MLS as well. So go back to those old listings and see if those disclosures are still there and compare the past disclosures from the previous owners.
So if somebody says there's a foundation problem in the last one, it wasn't fixed, but you're not disclosing it this time, you can get a sense that there might have been a foundation issue.
Right. Or they just don't say anything that there's, because they're going, well, and when I owned the house, I never had a foundation issue.
Right.
But two people before had it appeared and, had major issues with it. So those are our tips for buying today.
All good stuff, Kathy Helbig. Market still booming?
The market is still booming. We'll probably have a little bit of quietness right before Christmas, but definitely people waiting for the right homes to come on the market. If you're thinking of selling, get on the phone with us now so we can get you prepped as soon as possible.
314-276-SOLD or KathyHelbiggroup.com. The full team will help you out. Kathy Helbig Group, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
743, Big Five.